Hi, this is Sachin Patel, and welcome to my home. In this video, we're going to be doing a special spotlight. As the founder of the Living Proof Institute, what I've learned over the years is that how I live my life is a reflection of how my patients will live their life as well. To be living proof means you have to embody the message that you're trying to convey to your patients, your clients, and also your online community. So today, I'm going to show you some of the best self-care tips that I use in my home to keep myself and my family as healthy as possible. As you've probably learned, maybe some of you the hard way, staying healthy this day and age is an uphill battle. It's something we have to constantly work at. Health is not as passive as it used to be for our parents, grandparents, and even our great-great-great-grandparents and ancestors. Today we're facing an onslaught of things that can impact our health, and sometimes these things can cause chronic illnesses and diseases. What we certainly want to be sure of is that our home isn't causing chronic illness in our lives, and we also want to be sure that we're taking the necessary measures to stay as healthy as possible. And I'm going to show you some of the things that I personally do so that you can live a healthy, productive, meaningful life. Now, what you're going to learn today is something that I want you to apply over and take steps moving forward. So let's get started. I have a whole list of things I want to cover. I'm going to take you into my bathroom to show you how I use the bathroom. There's a unique way that can really help you. I'm going to show you the exact filters that we use to filter our water, to clean the air in our home, a special mat that I sleep on every night and I use twice a day to keep my body healthy and regenerating. I'm going to show you some of the exact things that I do, and I'm going to name the exact products that I use so that you can take those next steps with confidence and clarity. So let's get started, guys. Let's do this. Okay, so here we are in my bathroom. Using the restroom is very important because it helps us clear out toxins. It helps us eliminate the waste products of normal metabolism, and it also helps us get rid of excess, hormones, and also it gets rid of excess cells that our body is sloughing off from the inside of our digestive tract. Now, hopefully you're going every day. You should be going 1 to 3 times a day to use the restroom. And one thing that people may not realize is that in North America and in most, first world countries, the way we use the bathroom is actually quite incorrect from an anatomical standpoint. So one of the things that I use to help use my own anatomy better is I use something called a squatty potty. And a squatty potty is something that you can even make at home. You can use a stool if you want, or even a couple of paint cans. But what you're going to do is you're going to put your feet up here. And what this does is it gets your knees above your hips. When you do that, what ends up happening is we loosen up a particular muscle that unclenches our bowel. And then using the bathroom actually becomes effortless. So I won't demo this, obviously, but you can learn lots of information about squatty potties online. In fact, they have one of the most hilarious commercials I've ever seen. So you can go and Google squatty potty and check out the unicorn squatty potty commercial. And if you need a good laugh today, I think that'll really help you. So what this does is it tilts your pelvis in the right position. Using the bathroom becomes effortless, and this is an excellent way for you to prevent a reoccurrence of things like SIBO. SIBO is known as small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. If you have thyroid disease, chances are constipation is a big concern for you, bloating is a big concern for you, and so if we're not moving our bowel regularly, at least 12 inches every day, then we're accumulating toxicity in our body. And anything that we can do to alleviate the pressure of having to use the restroom is going to be extremely beneficial. If you have to strain when you use the bathroom, you increase your chance of developing things like hemorrhoids. You also increase pressure in the lower abdomen, which can then blow back bacteria into the small intestine. And we never want that to happen. Bacteria is good when it's in the right place. When it's in the wrong place, it creates some problems for you. So always remember, your knees should be above your hips, and you should be in a kind of like a squatting position. This is also great for hip mobility and knee mobility because some of you may not be getting into a squatting position on a daily basis. Going to the bathroom now becomes effortless and more anatomically correct, which is extremely important for your long-term health and wellness. Okay, so this is a simple tip for you. You can start implementing this immediately. And now let's go into the bedroom, where I'm going to show you some of the tools that I use, passive tools that I use to keep myself healthy while I sleep and first thing in the morning. Okay, welcome to my bedroom. This is where the magic happens. and it's probably not what you're thinking. The magic I'm referring to is healing. When we're sleeping, the most important thing that we're doing is repairing and regenerating. When we sleep is when we heal. When we rest is when we heal. So I want you to keep this in mind, because if you're not getting restorative sleep, you're not regenerating and repairing adequately. And we all know how important that is. So a couple things that I do on a daily basis that I find extremely beneficial, and they can probably help you as well, is setting the right environment for bed. So you'll notice there's no television in this room. There's the wall behind, to the left of me is completely blank. You know, you want to eliminate any electronics in your bedroom. Your bedroom should be used for two things: sleep, and you probably know the other thing. So if you're suffering from any chronic condition, you want to prioritize your sleep. Sleep should be your highest priority, because that's, again, when we heal and regenerate. So one of the things that you want to do is you want to set the right intention around your sleep, and realize that sleep is not a burden. It's not a sign of weakness. It's not a sign of being an inadequate person, because in some cultures that's how sleep is viewed. You're viewed as lazy or inadequate, and certainly if you're trying to heal, sleep is going to be your best friend. So a couple things that you can do in the bedroom before I show you what's under the covers is you can have a salt lamp in your bedroom. I love this Himalayan salt lamp because it provides me with a relaxing environment. I love crystals in general, so if you come to my office, or if you ever come to my home, you'll see that I have a collection of amethyst and other beautiful crystals throughout my home. What I like about a salt lamp is that it keeps me grounded. It's also something that you can keep on throughout the day, helps cleanse your home, gets rid of negative ions, which are beneficial for you, and it also provides an ambient light for you to read to. So instead of using bright lights, you can use an amber-colored glow like this that can be extremely beneficial. Now, another thing that I use, these are my day walker glasses, so I'll come a little bit closer so you can see them. These glasses can be worn during the day, and if you look at them closely, you'll see they've got a yellow tint to them, and that yellow tint filters out blue light. If you're in an office environment where there's overhead lighting that's fluorescent, you're going to want to avoid that. Now at night, what I wear are these glasses. I wear my TrueDarks, and what this does is it completely filters out any blue light. If you like to watch television at night, for whatever reason, or you need to work on your computer in the evening, these TrueDarks filter out the specific frequency of light that stimulates our brain and keeps us up at night. So by wearing these at night or in the evening, you can get your melatonin levels to increase. Melatonin isn't just a sleep hormone, it's also an immune system boosting hormone. So you can get into a more regenerative and restorative sleep. Now, one thing people might say is, I have great sleep. The next question I would ask you is, how do you feel when you wake up in the morning? You should feel refreshed and restored and regenerated when you wake up in the morning. If you don't feel that way, then we know your sleep isn't adequate and we need to work on that. So I'm going to take these off because I'm not ready to go to bed just yet, but that's something that you can order, and I'll be sure to share the links with you. These are amazing, made a huge difference for me. And one of the things, unfortunately, we can't get our bedroom to get completely dark because we have some ambient lighting that comes from outside, and so this filters out all that blue light that's coming in from the street lights. Another device that I have here, this is called a HeartMath, and a HeartMath is a heart rate variability monitor. You can use this in the evening. It plugs into your phone or plugs into any device that you choose that has Bluetooth, and you can use it to get into a deep, restful state. And so getting parasympathetic with your breath is the basis of yoga, Tai Chi, meditation, Qigong, and virtually all healing modalities. If you're having a hard time falling asleep, I would suggest getting a device like this so you can track your heart rate variability. You can also do this throughout the day in order to help you get into that relaxed state more frequently. Okay, so those are some of the things that you can do to get a better night's sleep. Now I'm going to show you what I use in my bed underneath the covers to help me heal and regenerate faster. Okay, you guys might not be able to see my face, but I'm going to show you what's underneath the covers here. I love fractal geometry and sacred geometry, so I love having a comforter like this. But here's what you're going to see underneath the covers. First of all, we use organic sheets, okay? Organic sheets are important because cotton is one of the most heavily sprayed crops on the planet, and it's genetically modified to resist many of the common pesticides that are used. So organic cotton sheets is a good place to start. The next layer which you see here, is actually something called a grounding mat. And a grounding mat helps dissipate negative electrons. So one of the benefits of grounding that you might experience when you go to the beach or when you walk barefoot in the grass is that it resets our electrical potential in our body. So I do this passively every night. It's called a grounding throw, and what you might see here is you see this little plug. This plugs into the grounding outlet on any outlet in your home. And so this is lined with a special material that allows those negative ions to dissipate. You have to make skin contact with this. So you want to sleep in shorts, you want to make sure that you're not wearing any socks and you're making direct contact with this mat. You can also use this as a throw. You can use something like this if you're watching television. I recommend that you do this. If you're not getting outdoors on a daily basis in your bare feet on the earth, this is your next best alternative. The US cycling team actually used something very similar to this to ground themselves and recover and regenerate in between their days of cycling. And we all know how intense that can be. The next layer, I'm going to take the sheets off here now, is a special mat. This is a special mattress cover, if you will, and it's lined with apricot and other hulls, which adds a layer of comfort, but it also helps dissipate the negative ions. Now the next layer below this is probably my secret weapon. It's called a BEMER mat, and a BEMER mat is a professional and a commercial application mat which releases something called a pulse electromagnetic field. A pulse electromagnetic field basically resets the electrical potential in our cells and helps us regenerate much faster because it increases microcirculation throughout the body. Now, those of you with thyroid disease know that your hands and feet and nose and extremities tend to get cold. The tip of your nose is probably cold because this is all based on poor microcirculation. One of the most important tissues that requires microcirculation is the brain. So if we can increase circulation throughout our body, especially to the brain, we can heal, regenerate, and repair it. Now the next layer below the PEMF mat is one of my favorite mats, which is called the BioMat. The BioMat is a far infrared mat. What this mat does is it releases far infrared rays, and that penetrates several inches below the surface of our skin. What far infrared light does is it promotes healthy detoxification. The nice thing about this mat is that it heats us up. So if you're a thyroid patient, we know that body temperature is a difficult thing for many of you to regulate, especially in the winter months. This is an excellent mat to help you do that. What's inside this mat is two crystals, tourmaline and also amethyst, and they're ground up. You can kind of see a little window here where those crystals are visible to you. And it heats it up. It also releases negative ions into the bedroom as well. So all these little therapies that I have they're all passive, which means all I have to do is lay here and I get to bed. I reap the amazing benefits of a few things. One is grounding. Two, here I am. One is grounding. Two is pulse electromagnetic fields. Three is far infrared. Four is heat. Okay, and 5 is the detoxification benefits that come with the far infrared. So this is something passive. This is something that I hope many of you can eventually incorporate into your lifestyles. These materials aren't necessarily inexpensive. I would start with the organic cotton sheets, and I would then invest in a throw, which is the grounding throw. And then the next investment up from there would be a BioMat, which is about $2,000. And the layer on top of that would be the PEMF mat, which is about $6,000. But these are all life-changing devices. So you don't have to invest in all of them up front all at once, but something for you to aspire towards. And the benefits of these things aren't just for thyroid health, but global benefits for healing and regeneration. Okay, now next we're going to go to one of my favorite places in my home, and it's a nice surprise for you. So let's go take a trip. Welcome to my den. My den actually has a home infrared sauna unit in it. This sauna emits 3 different types of infrared light: near, far, and mid-infrared light. So I'm going to take you in for a quick little tour and explain to you some of the benefits of this particular unit. This unit is made by a company called Sunlighten, and there's enough room for both me and my wife to be in here, but we use this as our personal sanctuary. So we give each other an hour 3 to 4 times a week, And this helps us detoxify things like heavy metals that we're all exposed to. It helps us relax. It helps us meditate. There is something called chromotherapy in here, so we can change the color of the lights in this space. Let me see if I can demonstrate that for you. Okay, so we can sit in particular frequencies of light. So now I've got it set to red light, and different frequencies of light have different healing benefits on the body. You don't feel claustrophobic at all in here. This unit heats up to about 140 to 150 degrees Fahrenheit. And over time exercising, because of your fatigue or because of your aches and pains that you might have. So this is another passive therapy that you can eventually invest in and incorporate into your daily routine or into your weekly routine. When you incorporate far infrared light, you're going to start detoxing, toxins. You're going to start promoting fat loss. You're going to sweat profusely, which is very important for our immune system. Increasing our core temperature is very critical, and that's one of the things that exercise does. It increases our core temperature, which increases the activity of heat shock proteins, and heat shock proteins help us with proper immune function and proper rest. One of the things I want to emphasize to you is that my wife and I are both minimalists. So we live in about 1,000 square foot condo, which means that I know if we can do these things, most of you can do these things. We've decided to invest our time, energy, and money into areas that consistently and constantly allow us to gain value and improve our health outcomes from. So some of you might be saying, I can't afford these things. That's okay. You can start with some of the small things and then work your way up. This is something that took me a few years to finally make the investment in, but it's been one of the best investments that I've ever made. So I hope that if you're watching this and you're inspired to buy a sauna, then it will be a really, really good investment for you. I can reassure you of that. Just make sure you use it, because like most of these things I've showed you today, they only work if you actually use them. Okay, now next we're going to take a trip and we're going to go into my living room area. I'm going to show you something that I use on a daily basis that helps me with my focus, my clarity, my mood, and also makes the place that we live in smell wonderful. So let's take a trip just down a few steps away from here. I'm sure many of you have seen a diffuser. A diffuser atomizes water and essential oils. Essential oils can be extremely powerful tools to help you get into a certain mood, to help you heal, to help you eliminate things like asthma. One of my favorite oils to diffuse is lavender. Lavender helps create a relaxing environment. We diffuse lavender in our bedroom at night, and we find that helps with our sleep, but also with our son's sleep as well. So this has been one of the most powerful tools that we've used in our home to help us with creating a relaxing environment. Our sense of smell is extremely powerful, and it creates something very special in our brains. It helps us create a certain mood when we associate that particular smell with a particular environment that we're in. So use essential oils in your home and in your office to help you get into a certain physiological state. I'm going to introduce you to a very simple device that I use in my home, and I want you to make a small investment and purchase this as well. They're about $20 to $30 at Home Depot. You can also get them on Amazon if you don't have a Home Depot or home hardware store close to you. And it's basically a programmable timer to cut off anything that's plugged into it. This wire runs to my router in my home. When possible, I try to use wired internet versus wireless internet, but the reality of life is it's hard to get away from it. So I can't always use it, and so my router is on during the day, but in the evening when I'm not using the internet, there's no reason for it to be on. That's when I should be sleeping, regenerating, and restoring. So this little device is programmed to shut off anything that's plugged into it at 10 p.m. at night, and it turns back on at 6 o'clock in the morning. And you can set whatever you want those parameters to be. This eliminates unnecessary exposure to electromagnetic frequencies, and this can be a hidden trigger for chronic health issues for many people. So go online, pick one up, or go to Home Depot and pick one up, and you'll start to see that you're probably sleeping better and waking up more restored in the morning. Okay, now my next tip for you is going to be to change the light bulbs in your home. So let's go and take a look at what type of light bulbs you should be using in your home to help you have more restorative and regenerative sleep. If I ever have the honor of hosting you in my home, one of the things that you'll notice is that all of our light bulbs look just like that. They have a yellow tint to them. What this means is the temperature of this bulb is different than the traditional temperature of bulbs. This is what we call a 2700 Kelvin bulb. The average person used to sleep about 10 hours a night. Now the average person sleeps 6.5 hours a night. And this could be due to a variety of things. But one of the things that we've noticed is that most people use light bulbs which stimulate their brain and make it hard for them to go to sleep. So full spectrum lighting in the evenings is unnatural to our brain. It confuses our brain in thinking that it's the wrong time of day. It makes our brain think it's daytime all the time. So certainly, why would we be sleeping and feel tired if our brain thinks it's daytime? Now, 2700 Kelvin bulbs are available in pretty much all hardware stores. And what you'll look for is the temperature of the bulb. And I'm going to show you this here. You'll see right there that it says 2700K. And they're available in all kinds of different light bulbs. So these are the smaller kinds of light bulbs. These are the spotlight light bulbs. And you'll notice that these are 2700 Kelvin as well. So you can use these in any home in your house, or any room in your house rather, and you can get the benefits of less stimulating light in the evening. Now my recommendation to you would be, as the sun goes down, try to use as little as you can overhead lighting. So lamps with shades on them can be more powerful in helping you get into a deeper sleep at night, and also turning off any lights and even using candlelight can be extremely beneficial as well. So those are some tips for you to start getting a more restful sleep. And as we said earlier, sleep is one of the most important things that you can do to help yourself restore and regenerate. Okay, now let's take a trip into my kitchen so I can show you some of the tools that we use in the kitchen that can make your life easier and make getting healthy easier as well. Okay, welcome to my kitchen. So you'll notice two really important devices in my kitchen. The first one is a high-speed blender. The one that I use is called a Blendtec. And I love Blendtecs because of their quality, because of the power, and because of the warranty that they come with as well. You can get these at Costco if you want. That's probably where you'll find the best price. Now what you might notice, my wife commented on this, she's like, you can't show them our container, it's stained, it's yellow. And that's because I add turmeric to almost everything that I blend in here. So if I make soups in my blender, smoothies in my blender, if I make a elixir in my blender, it usually has turmeric in it. Turmeric is one of the most powerful antioxidants, and it has about 600 benefits in our body. So certainly incorporate more turmeric into your diet if you can. Now you might see this shiny object over here, and some of you might actually have this in your home. It's called a Berkey water filter. And the Berkey water filter is a gravity filter, so you put water in at the top, and then it gravity filters it to the bottom. What I have in this filter are actually mineral stones as well, and these stones help alkalize the water and restore the mineral balance into the water. This Berkey water filter is great for camping. You can take it, you can put swamp water in it, and it'll filter all the nasty things out. It filters out all the chemicals that are normally found in our drinking water. And below this, you can't see it, but if you were to open it up, you'd see a fluoride filter as well. So we filter out all the fluoride and chlorine and bromine that's normally found in drinking water, because these are things that interfere with normal thyroid function. Okay, so two things that you can invest in your kitchen that can make a profound impact in your overall health and wellness. And specifically if you're dealing with thyroid issues, you want to make sure you're getting rid of the fluoride, the chlorine, and the bromine that's normally found in our food supply, but also in our water supply. And we all know hydration is important, so the quality of that hydration needs to be taken into consideration as well. The air clean. It keeps the dust particles and mites and all these nasty things out of the air. I know all of you have a clean home, but no matter how clean our home is and what kind of efforts we make, we're going to have exposure to dust and other allergens in the air that we breathe. The particular brand that we use is called Air Doctor. And this is a great filter because it's a HEPA filter, and we put it right in front of our furnace because that's where most of the air is being sucked in, and it helps filter out all the nasty particles that you might find in the air that you're breathing. Okay, so there you have it. You had a quick tour, a lot of things, but I want you to meet yourself where you are. You know, set some goals, make some small investments in your home, and you'll start to see some profound differences in your overall health. Simple things that we talked about that you can start with. One would be the squatty potty to help you use the restroom more effectively. Another thing you can do is you can invest in the right types of light bulbs in your home. Get the 2700 Kelvin light bulbs. You can get a kill switch or programmable timer to plug into your router in your home. And the other thing that you can do, which would be a small investment, is to get a throw which has the earthing capabilities. So it's an earthing throw that helps dissipate the negative ions that you might be exposed to. So I've given you a lot of things to think about. I've given you a lot of tools that we use personally in our home, which we've accumulated over the years, so I want you to be mindful of that. You're not going to go out and buy all these things at once. Start with some of the things that are missing. Start with the fundamentals. Meet yourself where you're at, and over the next few years, you'll start compiling all these amazing tools that you can use to keep yourself as healthy as possible. Once again, my name is Sachin Patel. I honor you for coming through a little walkthrough through my home, and I hope one day that you actually get to come and visit me in person in my home so you can see these things and how we use them on a daily basis to keep ourselves as healthy as possible. Until then, I'm wishing you a long, healthy, happy, and prosperous life. Thank you.